Hey everyone, this is Keith Geiling,
And Dean Dittenber.
and you're here with the Playing Through podcast, sponsored by Move Faster Golf.
If you're wondering what Move Faster Golf is or how to become an official MFer, listen to our Playing Through podcast to find out.
Hey MFers, welcome back to Playing Through. Today's episode is going to be about basically current golf news, and we got a couple big topics that's been going on at least in the since late November, early December, and one of them is pretty big deal. Is Tiger Woods is back.
Hey,
What do you think about that, Dino?
I'm always happy to see Tiger play in a tournament. I mean, his name is kind of synonymous with my growing up in golf.
You're right.
So watching him play is great. Now, again, probably not his best round he's ever played, but it's just good to see him back and hopefully maybe breathe a little bit of life back into golf. It's had its moments.
Yeah, with the whole live thing and everything the last year or so, it's kind of been a little sketchy. But that being said, I'm a huge Tiger Woods fan. I always have been since I basically first started playing golf is when he, got into like right in that, 97, 98 realm.
Yep.
And so, but like my whole, when I watch Tiger Woods and to see him come back, I just want to see him come back. If he can come back with his health, I'm a personal believer in like, if you come back and like whether you play bad or not, that's fine. You're rusty, you don't have it, whatever.
Yep.
But just own a bad round, own a bad tournament. We just don't. If you're not ready, because if you say, I couldn't do this or this hurt or I had to withdraw, just stay away. That's kind of how a lot of us feel.
Yeah, nobody wants to see him struggle, right? That's completely different. But having him back, great to see Tiger back out there playing. Said that I did hear him say that about the fusion problem with this fusion is it causes pain everywhere else now.
Right. Yeah.
So
welcome to the club.
Yep. Welcome to being in your late 40s now, man.
Well, I tell you this, and some Tiger Woods news that's kind of been floating around the last week or so is no longer going to be with Nike Golf. Woo-hoo. I don't think it's official yet, but that being said, that's a big deal in my opinion.
27 years we read. 27 years
really?
He's been with Nike Golf. Imagine not seeing Nike and going into a golf shop and not seeing Tiger Woods Nike apparel or shoes.
Yeah, what's it been? I don't know how many years it's been now that Nike's been out of the golf equipment industry. It's been a while now.
Yeah.
But the clothing industry, Nike Golf is just synonymous with Tiger Woods.
Oh gosh,
and he owns that. He's brought it on the map. It's ridiculous to think of that. And
they have
a few other players that actually will carry the torch a little bit, but not like Tiger.
Well, the number one player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, wears Nike apparel. But do you know what kind of Nike apparel he wears? Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods. He has a lot of he has a lot TW stuff on his equipment. So
he's a decent player.
He strikes the ball all right. On an occasion.
Right. Now, it's another big news this week. Obviously, today is Friday the
8th.
December 8th. So this week's news announced yesterday, Jon Rahm going to live.
Wow.
What do you think about that one?
Well, considering Jon Rahm said his heart was 100% with the PGA Tour.
Right, I know. Money.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we looked that up as $300 million over 3 years. And then I had kind of thought, well, I wonder how that is in comparison to his normal income. Jon Rahm's made $66 million in his entire career in the PGA Tour. He will almost double it in the first year going to live.
Yeah, right. Which is just to show up. That's just to show up.
Just to be there. He's got to make the minimum.
He probably make 30 to 50 million on the course.
Yeah. He's obviously a money decision, right? It makes you wonder with this whole, PGA Tour, DP Tour, Live Tour joining together. What's going on? He's still taking the money. Hey,
there might be a bigger picture here that we're not really very privy on. But at that being said, that kind of money is we kind of kid around. It was in the full swing episodes on Netflix.
Yeah.
Dustin Johnson basically said, hey, they're paying me more money to do less. If anybody else turned that down in their job, they'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. You can't really blame them for it.
If someone came along and offered you more than double your annual income and do half of the work,
right?
You'd at least think about it, right?
If I said no, you better check me. That's ridiculous. But so I understand. Obviously,
sure.
But it's just the only thing that's a little bit doesn't pass the smell test is all the stuff he said. Here, not even a year ago. But it's like whatever. We kind of
in watching PGA events. So now, man, sometimes it's difficult to watch because some of those names are not real synonymous with the people we've known.
Exactly right.
You know, that top
Still awesome
brand of golf. And these guys are phenomenal golfers. I mean, they're phenomenal golfers, but it's like you're thinking, you know, when I think of PGA Tour, obviously, you know, the Tiger Woods name, Rory McIlroy, you know, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Max Homa. These are the guys you think of. And now a lot of these tournaments, you're lucky to see one of those names in a tournament.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's thinned out. Liv has thinned out that name, you know. So, yeah, I mean, can you blame the guy?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously he's gonna, you know, he's a great player, one of the top 3 in the world, and
sure.
And he'll still be there at the majors. I mean,
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, and I'm wondering if that's really it, because, you know, that kind of got cleared up this last year that the majors were not going to be in that bickering match between the two. Yep. They were allowing them.
Rory had came out just yesterday, I think it was too, and said something about they have to change the criteria for the Ryder Cup because of this or that. So they're gonna, it's all gonna work itself out. And meanwhile, John Rahm is going to the bank and cashing some checks.
Yeah, big checks.
Right. He's going to make slightly more money than we do here at MF for Golf.
Yeah, this podcast is very lucrative.
Exactly right. Another big news is not even in a professional realm. It's basically going to affect all of golf.
Ooh,
and if somebody doesn't really know what we're talking about, that is golf ball rollback / or bifurcation.
And remember, rollback does not mean the spin you put on a golf ball.
Right.
Not that kind of rollback.
So tell us what that's all about, Dino.
So
what do you know of it?
Well, you know, from my understanding, again, I'm just an amateur golfer, but basically what they're trying to do is shorten up the distance people are hitting golf balls.
100%.
They're trying to make it that basically,
because
I think
the
what's
pros
happened,
have gotten to be, they're bombing it so far. The golf courses nowadays, especially on a lot of tours, are becoming a little too short for them. They're saying they're obsolete, but
So what they're trying to do is make sure that some of these existing courses don't become obsolete for the PGA Tour. And what they're trying to also stop is that, you know, these new golf courses that people are looking at potentially building aren't these massive monsters just to accommodate, you know, this hitting distance. So the PGA Tour has decided that they're going to implement what they call a ball rollback. They're going to make it, they're going to change their parameters on how they test the golf ball from a distance perspective.
Yep.
And in doing that, we're going to lose some distance. Well, I don't know if I will lose much distance. It's hard to lose distance when you play like I do. But
it's one of those things that the farther you hit it, the more distance, just like a percentage. It's obviously basic math.
Definitely.
The farther you hit it, the more you have to lose. But that being said, a lot of it is, so to clarify, for example, the proposal here months back was for a ball bifurcation. What that means is it's a split parameter. So the professionals would play with a different ball, which would be rolled back.
Yep.
Which I was told I didn't have a problem with.
Nope.
It's a professional game. It's you know, whatever. It's not going to affect you or I.
No.
But that being said, so the amateurs would still have a certain ball that we're buying now, and you know, today's Dunhams or
your same Pro V1s,
whatever.
Same TP5, same Chrome Soft, whatever you're getting.
So that was the original proposal.
Yep.
But now they have changed it to if it's a rollback, it's gonna be a rollback for everybody, and they're talking rollback for the professionals at 2028.
228.
And by 2030, it will be the amateur status.
Amateur status will go into effect in 2030. And a couple of the things that came from the bifurcation that it was kind of pushed off was, one, they felt like that a lot of the amateurs that you see coming through, like through college and stuff right now, are probably some of the biggest hitters that are getting ready to come out onto the tour.
Just bombing it.
So they're kind of thinking, well, if we're going to make it fair, then do that. Now, the other thing was, and again, you know, the golf faithfuls were like, this is not how we do things. This is, you know, this is fair across the board. So that's where the bifurcation ended up kind of going away, because they kind of thought, well, we're not really maybe getting to some of the group that we need to, meaning amateur golfers. Like I said, you hit the nail on the head. Watch amateur golfers play. These guys are hammering it down the freaking fairway.
I'll say this. I mean, there is bifurcation in other sports too. Like one of the most obvious one is baseball.
Yeah.
The professional baseball players use a wooden bat. Mm-hmm. Amateur, college, and below, it can use aluminum, whatever. So there is bifurcation at certain levels in certain sports. But that being said, I think a bifurcation example would almost be more impressive, in my opinion, for us amateurs to watch, because you can watch Rory and the boys bomb it. And we know they have a ball that's not hugely rolled back, but it's rolled back enough to where they're losing 5 to 10%. Sure. So they're going to hit it maybe 15 to 18, up to 20 yards shorter. Yep. But when they go into a par 5 that's 560 yards, and they still can hit driver 7-iron, when I'm like, that's just an absolute joke. I mean, stuff, or even, I mean, some
Even
of the
less.
bombers can
Some are
go
even less than
5
that. Yeah.
driver, 8-iron driver, whatever it might be.
Sure.
But that being said, if that's an example, like they're using a rolled back ball and still hitting these scores, these distances, these type of stuff. So it's going to be, in my opinion, as a golfer, as a hardcore, the lover of the game, I would be more impressed for a bifurcation model.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I mean, from what I've read, it seems like the lower amateurs, it really probably won't impact us a whole lot. I mean, they're saying, 0 to 5 yards. I mean, but hey, 200 yards, 195. Come on, man.
Right. Well, hey, we say this too. Speeding the game up, which is our, our number one, actual thing that we, hang our hat on is, faster game and stuff. Anything that shortens it up, I'm not a huge fan of.
No.
But there is a lot of examples things that have happened over the year. And like one of them is square grooves to U grooves on the irons and the wedges.
Sure.
People were freaking out about that here, years back, and that didn't hardly have any effect on amateurs and pros alike. I mean, it really didn't. You can actually, if you take, for example, whether it's a ball rollback or a square groove versus V groove on a club, if you hit those on a monitor with like a TrackMan or a GC Quad or something like that, you could probably see comparable numbers that are different that you see with your,
Sure.
Okay, this is obvious, but literally most of that stuff on the golf course in conditions is really hardly noticeable. No, it really isn't.
I don't, again, I think for most of us, it's really not going to be a big impact. Maybe you might, I could see you losing a little bit. Maybe if they roll the ball back.
Yeah, I'm probably going to use
big hitter like yourself.
yeah, all 273. But I probably might lose anywhere from 7 to 10 yards, possible.
I mean,
maybe not even. Maybe
they're saying
5,
13 to 15 losses, what they were projecting for most pros.
Pros, yeah.
Everyday Joe, I would call myself an everyday Joe, 0 to 5 yards, and you're probably somewhere in that middle ground.
Yeah, probably 6 to 9, 6 to 8, something like that.
I mean,
maybe.
for LPGA, LET events, 5 to 7 yards, I figure for women golfers. So, I mean, it's a little bit. The other part that I'm, as you read a little bit more into it, I think that it, they did say that once you get to about that 5-iron length of club, they didn't see any real distance change.
Sure.
Because, obviously, the most important still, don't get me wrong, driver's important. We all know that, right? But we all live, the analogy still is, you drive for show, you putt for dough.
I know, right?
There's, they're saying
Imagine
from short, short irons and short to mid irons, wedge, they don't think there's any difference whatsoever. They don't think it'll change it at all.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, and I will say this, to be devil's advocate against a ball rollback, for me would be, all you have to do is you can do certain things to these golf courses. You don't have to add distance. Sure. There's no difference there's no, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for. Like when you go to the U.S. Open and they set up a course, those professionals will complain and bitch about it, but high rough, certain places. Oh, yeah. And here's an example too, at Muirfield Village in the Memorial, Jack Nicklaus series, I don't know how many years ago, he put furrowed rakes into the bunkers. And what that was, it was like a spread out, like the teeth of the rake. So basically what meant when you raked your bunker, it almost left like these little furrows.
Little furrows in it?
Yeah. So that being said, they're like the professionals, some weren't, were bitching about it. Basically like, oh, well, at the end of the tournament, the sand save percentage was barely like less than like 3% or something like that. I mean, these guys are so good, and women they're so good, especially around the green and short game. It's like you can do stuff like that, all these little things to make your scores come down and the golf courses not be obsolete. So that's my my pushback against a rollback.
I completely agree. I'll bet in the end you don't notice a lot of difference even with the pro golfers. In the end, they're still going to hit the ball a ton. I mean, they're still going to go in there with irons. Maybe they have to pull one extra iron, right?
Right.
Hey, man, no 6-iron this time. You got to use I'm going to use
they had instead
to hit of 7. I got to hit a 6
into a par 5 instead of a 7.
Those guys don't care what they hit anyway. I mean, they don't care.
Those guys are hitting 3 irons more solid and straight and consistent than I'm hitting a sand wedge. Let's be honest.
Yeah. The one thing that I did read that might add even a little extra wrinkle to this was that now the next phase would be looking at equipment.
Ooh,
what can they do to equipment?
Oh, they can do a lot of things to equipment, especially for the faces of drivers, the shafts, you name it. So I think there's a lot of room there. So, and that would be, you start messing with that too. Yeah. I mean, the professionals, we know they're bound. The amateurs, the average swing speed for an amateur is, I think it was 93 miles per hour for a man, 72 miles per hour for a woman. And the average tour speed for a professional is 115.
Yep.
And I think the big hitter, I don't know who it was, but the top for the year was 126. That's moving it. I mean, that is
a club head hauling. That is a club head hauling through the strike zone.
That club head is getting pulled over and getting taken to jail. Yes. Let's be honest.
You are getting
right straight to jail, reckless driving.
That's
Come on.
The golf ball, you hear it screaming before the club hits it.
So I mean, that's just
waiting.
So that being said, I mean, to start messing with equipment and stuff, the amateur game, I do not like that at all.
I don't either. I no. I mean, like you talked about bifurcation, with baseball. Baseball did that for safety. Could you imagine a professional baseball player hitting with an aluminum bat?
Right.
They might as well have 17 third basemen because they're going to kill about 4 of them a game or a pitcher. They're going to kill them.
Yeah.
So I mean, that really came to a safety concern, not really about the game changing.
Sure. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was more about saving people's lives because could you imagine those guys turning on a pitch? They're going to kill somebody. That thing's coming off so fast.
I'm learning stuff new right now.
I mean, not that it doesn't now definitely play the game, to help. But I mean, Major League Baseball, they want home runs, right? They want scoring.
Yeah, exactly.
They've tried for years here to really pump that up. So again, this isn't a safety problem. Well, it would be if I was hitting on a pro course and people were lined up on the edge. That's a safety problem.
If Dino's out there playing in a pro-am or anywhere, warning to everybody. Don't line up the people on the left, the people on the right. You are in the zone.
As I refer to it, the kill zone.
Yeah. But here's how it's going to go. The people on the left, it'll be coming for you. And you start ducking, but don't worry, it'll end up on the right. So anyway.
Come on, don't make fun of the power fade.
There you have it. So we just wanted to kind of get on here and touch base a little bit about, today's this week / month's news or whatever in golf and just kind of, shout at you guys a little bit, and we'll kind of turn down this episode and say, thanks for listening. If you want to learn more about MF or golf and playing through, just stick around, and we have some stuff coming out.
Remember, guys, be official MFers. Come on board, jump with us, join this mission. Get on, like and subscribe for us. Look forward to more content. Please give us some more content. We love to talk about things you guys want to talk about too.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Later.
Thanks, everyone, for sticking around and hearing what we had to blab about here at Playing Through.
And remember, if you want to become an official MFer, please like and subscribe.